we have only one life, so I love to squeeze everything out of life as much as I can in my situation as well. But a couple of years back, me and my husband and good friends, we climbed Kilimanjaro in Africa. And that for me was a spiritual experience. There was a lot of things on the mountain that we saw and that we had to go through, and God really taught me a lot of lessons on that mountain. But I read this last night and it really blessed me. The teacher said, I want you to come up higher. Where to? Up into a mountain. It's going to take you a journey. It's going to take you through a desert and then particular up this mountain. So let's go. So we did. But there was nothing easy about the journey. I had to rest several times just to catch my breath again. So finally, we made it to the top. And on top, we could see the majestic panoramic view before us. It is just something that I've never seen before. So how would you describe this climb? The teacher asked. He said, torture. He says, do you know what it would be called in Hebrew? He says, no, I don't know. He says, it's called aliyah. It means to go up, to ascend. And when you read the scriptures of the Messiah going to Jerusalem, you'll find that the word up several times, that he had to go up over and over. So the city of Jerusalem sits on the mountain. And you know how when you go up to Jerusalem, it's up. And it's always colder in Jerusalem than any other place in Israel. So the journey to Jerusalem is called aliyah, to ascend. So Jerusalem is also a holy city. So we're going to this place. So to go to Jerusalem means make aliyah. So going to the promised land was the journey up to the mountain. So we, as the spiritual children of Jesus, the Messiah, what does it mean for us? Does it mean we also make aliyah? We don't need to go to Jerusalem. You know, Jesus said there's a time that will come that you don't need to go there and there and there. I want my children to worship me in spirit and truth. So what does aliyah mean to me today? So the teacher said, in the spirit, you also should take this journey. This aliyah. Your life, your entire life is called an aliyah. Your life journey. But in God is always an upward journey. It's a very high ascending journey. The same way as you ascend the mountain, every day you will have choices. And every choice will give you a chance to go either lower, to stay, or to go higher. I hold before you life and death, blessing and cursing. You choose. You can go lower, you can just stay the way you are, or you can every day make a leap and go higher. So choose the higher path, even if it's harder, my child. Take the highest step, but let each of your steps be higher than the one before you, each of your days. And you will end up walking on mountains, and you will live your life in aliyah. When we climbed Kilimanjaro, there were so many things that I've learned every day about myself, about my husband, about us, our relationship. It was every night you get into a little tent and they literally give you a bowl of water like this, and it's not hot. And then you need to take off all your clothes and you need to wash, and the other one sits at the back of the tent and you give your dirty water to that person and he wash. Tomorrow he sits in front, wash, and he gives you the dirty water and wash with this little bit of water. It became so steep that nobody talks to one another. It is literally concentrating to put the one foot in front of the other foot. And some days the one is strong and the other one's not so strong. Some days you feel like you're going to quit. So we climbed and we climbed and we reached the place where they decide, okay, they measure you again. Are you ready to go the last bit? And when we got there, Tina's couldn't go on. His oxygen wasn't good, and he said, no, I'm going. And they said, no, you can't go. You're not ready. And right there, they said to me, you have to go because we can't stand here. You have to go. And he had the communion that we wanted to do communion up there, and he had the communion with him. And I knew I can't go leave him there. And it was like, I can't leave you and go by myself. And he said, you go. And the next thing I could just see, he dropped over his sticks. And as he dropped, he told me afterwards, he says, my ears just shut. And it was quiet, Retah, and it was only me and God. And I asked him, I so much want to get there. But why is it always in my life that just before I reach that something happened? And the Lord said to him, because you do it out of your own strength. He says, you will not climb this mountain and never get there with your own strength. And the Lord said to him, let me show you how. And he said, you're going to do it step by step, by trusting me, relying on me with all your being, the Amplified says. Trust, rely, and lean on God with all your being every day. And if you're tired, you can lay upon him. You may cry. You may tell him exactly how you feel. You know, Sunday I said to him these words. I said, I don't have any more strength. If you're not going to give me strength, this is where I am. If you don't pick me up, I can't even get up. So he's so faithful. He just come and breathe his breath over us again. But he wants us to be dependent on him. You know, I find, well, let me finish the story. It was very difficult for me to ascend to the top on my own without my husband. Leaving him there, this is the place where many people get heart attacks, they die. We've seen people dying on our way down. That was tough. And God said to me, trust me. Just trust me. I had to go up. And when I arrived on the top and I started doing communion with just sitting and praying there, I just had the bread, he had the juice. And when I came there, when I was still praying, I could see here he came. He came up the mountain step by step. And I said, well done. He says, no, Retah, only God. Only God. And sometimes I see people on this journey where they speak a lot, where it's all about self. And you know, on my journey up, I've learned just to be quiet. Because you get people in this race that everything is just perfect in their lives. And they can never get to a place that they say, also, I struggle. This was tough. Or when they speak to you, everything is just absolutely perfect. Then I wonder what mountain do you climb? I wonder, is that a cable car that you take up the mountain? Because this climb? But God said to me the other day, don't look around. This is your journey. And every day you learn to become more quiet, more focused on God, more thankful, praising him, and being changed in his image and likeness. So I just quickly want to read this in Psalm 121. Look up to the mountain and the hills, longing for God's help. But then I realized that our true help and protection comes only from the Lord God Almighty. What does this mean? There was idols in the mountain. Some of them look at the mountain for help. There's nothing other that can help you in this race. His name is Jesus, the Messiah, Yeshua. He's the only creator, made heavens and earth, and he will guard and guide me, never letting me stumble or fall. And God is my helper, and he will never forget or nor ignore me. He will never slumber or sleep. He's the guardian God of all people Israel. Jehovah himself will watch over you. Well, I'm not sure about you, but that makes me so excited in this journey, knowing that God is watching over us. Allow yourself to enjoy the race. And you know, if it's tough, it's tough. And I remember even in our journey up, there was times that I couldn't eat the food anymore. I just threw it up one day in front of all my friends. I just couldn't keep it in because it became sour. And one day, Tina's coming out of the coldest part of South Africa. He sat on the one little chair we had to eat outside in the storm. And he looked at me and says, I feel like crying, you know. I feel like crying. I said, why? He says, I can't take the cold anymore. And I thought to myself, you come from the Free State. How can you not taking the cold? And I just realized on our journey up, everybody are faced with the innermost struggles in you. Your weakness comes out, and it's not always a bad thing. Don't, if all of your friends just tell you how brave and wonderful they are, it's okay. Good for them. But allow your journey with God to let your weakness comes out, because God blow his breath in your weakness so that you can become strong. But if you can never admit that, he cannot help you. My dear friends, have a wonderful day on your journey. We are all ascending. Aliyah. God's will, we speak tomorrow.